I'm Luan Xing and I'm from the Department of Accounting. Okay, let's start to talk about the first topic. First of all, what is tariff? A tariff is a tax on goods and services imported into a country. It's typically used to increase the price of import goods, making them more expensive than domestic goods and services, thus protecting domestic industries. What does a reciprocal tariff mean in the context of US Taiwan trade? A reciprocal tariff is a tax that is meant to protect local business, preserve jobs, and fix trade imbalance between countries. So Taiwan has faced a proposed 32 tariff on its exports to the United States. Following several rounds of intense negotiations, Washington reduced this rate to 20%. In addition, certain products categories, such as semiconductors, are not included in the short term. Next, let's talk about alternative policy instruments. So, what's the difference between tariff and quota? A tariff is a tax on importation of goods, and quota is a legal restriction on the amount of goods that can be imported. So, under what kind of circumstance might a country prefer quota instead of a tariff? First, quota has greater predictability in import value. Second, WTO policy has announced a non-tariff barrier preference. Third, quota can have better specific industry protection. These are three reasons why countries prefer quota instead of a tariff. So, how do these two policies differ in their impact on market efficiency and government revenue? Both of them cause deadweight loss and decrease market efficiency. The difference is that quota sets a hard limit on volume, so the market will be more predictable. On the other hand, tariffs increase revenue for the government. Next, this is a diagram of the US market. So we can see that the tariff will increase the price and decrease the import quantity. So this is a graph related to Taiwan's export. We can see the supply of Taiwan's export have shifted left. The equilibrium price increased and the equilibrium quantity decreased. The producer surplus of Taiwan's exporters decreased. Next, let's talk about the welfare effects on Taiwan. How the US tariff impacts Taiwan's consumers, producers, and governments. Um, in the short run, the tariff will not have a big impact on Taiwan's consumers. However, Taiwanese producers will experience a rapid decline in exports due to tariffs, with small and medium sized enterprises being particularly hard hit. Therefore, the government needs to provide relief programs to help domestic producers. So, how does the export decline influence Taiwan's overall economic welfare? The export decline would lower Taiwan's GDP and decrease Taiwan's overall economic welfare. So, last, let's talk about the welfare effects on the United States. American consumers need to pay higher prices for goods, resulting in a decrease in consumer surplus. On the other hand, tariff protection will increase the profits of American producers. In addition, US government can receive tariff revenue. Let's evaluate net welfare effects on the US. According to the diagram we talked, although the government can gain tariff revenue, it will still cause extra efficiency loss, so it will have a negative welfare effect.
My name is Lin Chengyu, and my student ID number is 114502040. Today, I'm going to talk about Task 2, TSMC as a dominant producer in the advanced chip market, pricing, cost, and competition. Background. TSMC produces over 90% of the world's most advanced chips. Its major clients include Apple, Nvidia, AMD, and Qualcomm. Firms relying on TSMC's leading process nodes of AI, high-performance computing, and smartphone chips. The capital cost of few fabs is extremely high, and R&D plus equipment constitute a huge portion of total cost. This dominant position gives TSMC monopoly-like market power in the most advanced segment, even though global foundry competition exists at other nodes. Guiding questions. Number 1. Monopoly pricing and quantity determination. Using a monopoly diagram, explain how TSMC determines its profit maximizing price and quantity for advanced AI chips. From this diagram, we can see that TSMC is a monopolist, so it's choosing the quantity where marginal revenue equals marginal cost, and charging the price on the demand curve corresponding to that quantity. Thus, Qm is the output where Mr equals Nc, and Pm is the price on the demand curve as Qm. From this diagram, we can see that the Mc slopes upward, and the marginal revenue lies below the demand curve, and the intersection Mr equals Mc gives Qm. And from Qm, the price Pm is found on the demand curve. So the monopoly price is Pm, and the monopoly quantity is Qm, and the profit area is this rectangle. And next, explain the welfare loss compared with perfect competition. Under perfect competition, output expense to P equals to MC. And compared to perfect competition, the monopoly output is smaller than the perfect competition output, but the monopoly price is greater than the perfect competition price. So we can see the Taylor loss here. And this creates reduced consumer surplus and lower output, and also Taylor loss. the monopoly output is less than the perfect competition output, but the monopoly price is greater than the perfect competition price. And next, discuss how factors such as AI shift demand surge, shift the demand curve and affect the equilibrium price and output. The advanced node demand curve shifts rightward. Shifts rightward due to explosive AI, HPC, and cloud requirements. And the consequences is that higher equilibrium monopoly price and higher monopoly output and also higher profit and also stronger incentive for new fab investment. And the second question, TSMC's cost structure. What types of fixed costs and variable costs does TSMC face in producing advanced chips? Let's talk about fixed costs first. TSMC faces extremely large fixed costs in advanced node production, including new fabs and EVU lithography tools, EUV lithography tools, and the R&D and clean rooms, chemical systems, and utilities. Also land and depreciation. Next, it explain how high fixed costs and economies of scale reinforce natural monopoly characteristics in semiconductor manufacturing. Oh wait, um, new fabs, EUV lithography tools, R&D, clean rooms, chemical systems, utilities, land and depreciation is um fixed cost. And let's talk about the variable cost next. The variable costs including um silicon wafers and chemicals and gases. and electricity and water. And also labor. And also machine usage and the depreciation allocation. And the next one is explain how high fixed costs and economies of scale reinforce natural monopoly characteristics in semiconductor manufacturing. Um, because ATC decreases with scale, and the market cannot efficiently sustain multiple advanced node producers. And the industry tends towards high entry barriers, strong scale economies, and natural monopoly characteristics. The industry tends toward high entry barriers and strong scale economies. And natural monopoly characteristics. And the next question is profit visualization. Show within the monopoly graph how to measure TSMC's economic profits. How to measure TSMC's economic profits in the graph. Profit rectangle 1. PM, price on the demand curve. 2. ATC QM, that is average cost at monopoly output. 3. QM, monopoly quantity. explain why TSMC can sustain positive long-run profits in advanced nodes while competitors struggle to match its efficiency and yield. Key reasons: 1. Technological leadership. 2. Economies of scale. 3. Limited EUV machine supply. 4. Customer lock-in due to high switching costs. And 5. Superior yield compared to Intel or Samsung. Okay, this is the 4 reasons why TSMC can sustain positive long-run profits in advanced nodes while competitors struggle to match its efficiency and yield. Uh, Question number 4. Factory expansion decisions, long run versus short run. TSMC is building new fabs in the USA, Japan, and Germany. Are these short run or long run decisions? They are long run decisions because they involve massive fixed investment and changes in total production capacity. and multi-decade strategic planning. And also shift in TSMC's ATC curve. These four reasons are why they are long-run decisions. Next, discuss the role of fixed investment in shaping these long-run production decisions. Large capital expenditure, increased capacity, and lower ATC through score. And enable new process nodes. Thus, only to list three: 1. Increase capacity. 2. Lower ATC through scope. 3. Enable new process nodes. Fixed investment determines TSMC's long-run supply capability. And this is the role of these are the roles these three is the role of fixed these three are the role of fixed investment in shaping this long-run production decision. And question number 5. From monopoly to oligopoly. Entry of Intel or Samsung. If Intel Foundry Services or Samsung Foundry successfully de- develop comparable 2 or 3 nm technology, how would the market structure change? If Intel Samsung catch up TSMC, the structure shifts from monopoly to oligopoly, and the implications are: 1. strategic interactions emerge. 2. Possible Bertrand or Coronat competition. Possible Bertrand, Bertrand or Coronat competition. And 3. Lower prices for customers. 4. Increased total output. 5. TSMC's profit margins shrink. 6. Nvidia, AMD, and Apple gain bargaining power. This is when um Intel or Samsung catch up TSMC. This is the possible reasons, the possible things that will happen to the market structure. Um, I think I missed one question. Let's go back to question 3. Profit visualization. 1. Show within the monopoly graph how to measure TSMC's economic profit. Profit rectangle. Price on demand curve. PM. and QM is monopoly quantity. And the ATC QM, average cost at monopoly output. Thus, um, economic profit equals PM minus ATC times QM. This is the TSMC's economic profit.
Hello everyone, my name is Chou Renzhen from the Communication College. Now I'm going to talk about our third topic. I will now present our third topic, air pollution and negative externalities. Background: air pollution is a serious example of negative externality, an unintended cause that private production forces onto society. First, understanding the case. Let's use a real-world example: emissions from coal-fired power plants. The negative externalities generated are air pollution, like SO2 and NOx, which causes health issues like asthma and lung disease, and environmental damage like acid rain. The producers are the firms or power plants whose activities create the pollution. The victims are the general public who suffer the health and cost burdens. This led to market vulture because the marginal private cost, MPC, for the producer is less than the marginal social cost, MSC. Producers only look at their own costs, ignoring the cost of pollution imposed on society. This causes overproduction of the polluting goods. Third, graphical analysis. This is the diagram showing how the market equilibrium quantity differs from the socially optimal quantity. The MSC curve is higher than the MPC curve. Without intervention, the free market produces at Q market, where demand equals MPC. The socially correct amount is Q social, where demand equals MSC. Since Q market is higher than Q social, the market produces too much pollution without government action. The green triangle part is the deadweight loss. In this situation, the producer gains from lower costs, while the consumer loses through society as a whole loses most. The Dewey laws represent allocative inefficiency for the units produced between Q social and Q market. The cost to society, MSC, is greater than the value to consumers' demand. These units should not be exceeded. Fourth, correcting the future. We can fix this with a Pigouvian tax. This tax is put on the polluter. It internalizes the externality by forcing the producer to pay the social cost, raising their MPC. The tax rate must equal the marginal external cost, MEC, at Q social. This is because MSC equals MPC plus MEC. The vertical red line is the tax which shifts the MPC curve upward to meet the MSC curve. This moves the equilibrium to the socially optimal point, Q social. Next, real-world policy example. A real example is the EU carbon tax. Raising the price of carbon-intensive activities is effective to reduce emissions. Challenges include political resistance, setting the right tax rate, and the risk of carbon leakage. Companies move production elsewhere. Finally, extended thinking. If pollution affects neighbors, it creates an international externality. One country imposes costs on another without paying. This is a collective action problem because there's no single international authority to enforce taxes. However, international efforts like carbon markets can serve as a Pigouvian mechanism. They establish a price for pollution to internalize the external cost globally. This is the end of our presentation. Thank you for listening.